All right, listen here, you guys. Let me tell you something about the UFC 328 fight card this weekend. This fucking guy.
How's that? Got something short out there on UFC Perth. I was wrong. Drew was right on both of his picks last week. That's why he's the expert, folks.
Can I get some props for saying that Prada's going to knock him out in the third or fourth round, and he knocked him out in the third round? Let's just acknowledge the fact that I called that.
It was really good. I mean, like, at the end of the day, man, like how let's recap it real quick. There's like a video type that we're eventually going to start or after these cards and after fights, our top 3 biggest things that are takeaways of cards. And honestly, number 1 right now is, man, how good is Ian Gary? How good is Ian Gary that he's at this position where he absolutely dominated Carlos Prates, who's dominating everyone else. So welterweight is slowly becoming just like lightweight, where it's very entertaining to watch.
Let's just say this though. We got to put a little bit of an asterisk there because he couldn't even beat a Shavkat through 5 rounds, and Shavkat only had 1 knee, and Shavkat hasn't fought in 2 years. So I mean, how good is Ian Gary? It's like we kind of have a little bit of a discussion with a little bit of an asterisk. But hey, Carlos Prada is my man, the Nightmare, doing what he does best, and that's putting people to sleep.
And let's see what happens in the future, but also let's see what happens this weekend at UFC 328. The press conference was today. We're recording this video a little bit later than we normally would because we wanted to watch the press conference, and it did not disappoint. It had, I think, 200,000 concurrent viewers at one point, which I think makes it like the 3rd highest live press conference ever viewed. Khabib versus McGregor was 1. I think McGregor versus Poirier 3 was the 2nd highest, so I think this is 3rd. It was incoherent. If you didn't see our Instagram and you're not following the Instagram, number 1, what the fuck is wrong with you? But number 2, Drew made a meme that was perfect. Joshua Van and Tatsuro Taira, what were they even doing there?
I mean, what?
There was no reason for them. There was no reason.
Van got 2 questions, and so did Taira, and people were booing Taira because he needed a translator for one of them. And also, why would you ask Van how it feels to be not the main event and behind Khamzat and Strickland? Like, that's just a terrible question. Like, oh, how do you feel that the spotlight isn't on you and you hope that some of it shines down on you? It's like, that's why you're fighting on the co-main of this card. It's a question that doesn't even have an answer.
Some of the questions that were asked by fans were literally so stupid. There was a Khamzat fan, and so many people have already brought this up. There was a very obvious like Khamzat fan who was like, Sean, all the things that you've said, in the build to this fight, are you going to have the courage to say it to Khamzat's face? It's like, have you been watching the press conference?
Yeah, this was about 15 minutes in.
He's literally been calling Khamzat a Chechnyan, lady of the night for like 15 minutes straight.
Can we talk about this real quick? Is that Khamzat literally left the country because of the persecution and murder this guy was putting on, and flees to Sweden, and then comes back when the dictator offers him a G-Wagon and a bunch of money, and like meets with him one-on-one. Like, how jaded and messed up really is that? Like Khamzat, if you leave the country, why would you come back? It's kind of, he literally was selling himself out for a car and money. And Khamzat, I really like watching you fight, but that was not a good move, bud.
And we're gonna do the other side of this now. We're gonna flip this coin here. We're gonna talk about the main fight before we get into the best ones. The big thing is Strickland's called Khamzat a bully. He's talked about what he would do when they train together in the same gym. And now, I don't think Sean realized what he's actually saying. That Sean goes, when I go into the gym, I want to fight the biggest guy. I want to get better, right? So I fight the strongest guy in there. Khamzat, he always fights a weaker man. Well, unfortunately, Sean, when you are the strongest person in the gym, everyone... Is your dog coming? Is your dog making an appearance?
Yeah,
What's your dog's take on this?
Here, Stitch, say hi to the people, buddy. Here he is. Stitch, say hi to the people. Yeah, say hi to the people, dude. Look, there you are.
Stitch, what's your opinion? Stitch, what is your opinion on the outcome of the Joshua Van and Alexander Pantoja fight? Do you consider Josh Van a legitimate champion?
He said no.
The heavy breathing. He sounds like
he's pulling down
he's got that heavyweight body.
He does. He's already like 34 pounds.
He's built like Josh Hockett.
No, he's got the Volkanovski build, because as you guys can see, he has absolutely no neck. It goes ears, shoulders, that's it.
But, the whole thing that Sean's been saying that like Khamzat's a bully and he just picks on weaker fighters. Well, dude, he was the strongest guy in the gym. Everyone was weak compared to him.
I'm gonna rebut that real quick, is because John Jones was a 205er for his entire career. I don't think John Jones ever really trained with any other light heavyweights other than Bubba McDaniel, and he trained with heavyweights most of his career. So let's put an asterisk on that, is because Khamzat's only 185er. He could easily be bringing in some of the smaller heavyweights and some of the bigger 205ers to really simulate a challenge, and he doesn't do that. His main training partner is a guy that's in 170.
I get both sides of it.
Like, oh yeah, my main training partner is going to be 15 pounds lighter than all the guys I'm going to fight. That makes no sense. It's that Bosinger Susakarev guy who's also coincidentally fighting this week.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be quite interesting. Let's get on to the main card, though. Before we get to the main card, we're going to blow through this. First of all, this is a top-to-bottom really good card. We talked about it before we started the show tonight. Prelims are all very good. There's a lot of very talented fighters. Kopilov's on here.
Atiba Gautier's on here.
Atiba Gautier, it was supposed to be the featured prelim. Oh, he still is. I think they moved him up. This card got moved around a little bit because Joshua Van's fight got moved back a card. We'll talk about it later. But Atiba Gautier, my personal favorite prospect. I mean, we speak very highly of Saul Killed on this show, but I like Gautier a lot. Ozzy Diaz is probably dying, for being honest.
He's a sacrificial lamb. It happens. He's used to it.
Jim Miller is fighting.
Jim
Miller's always a fun watch.
You know.
He's like the oldest motherfucker on the planet.
His first professional fight was in 2005. And that's pro,
he's
not
been
amateur.
to every single Centennial. He is the only guy to ever fight on every single Centennial UFC card. 100, 200, and 300. He'll probably be on 400.
I don't know about that.
Dude, he might retire. He might come back just for the lulz.
This crap again. Anyways.
Let's move up to the main card, though. We're going to start with the lightweight bout between Jeremy Stephens and our boy, Bobby King Green.
Hey, he legally changed his name now, John. You got to be correct. It's just King Green now. He changed that shit.
I apologize. It's King Green. I'm sorry.
King Green by murder.
Green right
End
now.
of story. Next fight.
Yeah, Green by murder. He's currently minus 325. Stephens is a plus 260. That's a fake bet. King should be
Who the fuck is that guy?
Who the fuck is that guy?
That's literally who he is, yeah.
Literally the only thing that guy is known for. He did nothing else in his career. Nothing. Let's move up to the welterweight bout between the number 9 ranked contender, Joaquin Buckley, Conor McGregor, and the number 6 ranked Sean Brady. The last we saw of Sean Brady was in the Michael Morales fight, I believe.
What Michael Morales fight are you talking about?
Isn't Sean Brady's last fight against Michael Morales? Or who am I thinking of?
He might have been, but I have repressed that memory.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're doing your bit again. You're gaslighting me into thinking it didn't happen.
Yeah, because I would like to forget that fight happened. That was pretty sad. I really like Sean Brady, and seeing him get slimed out that dirty was terrible to watch.
Brady was on a really good run. Lost to Bilal Muhammad. Went on a 3-fight win streak against Gastelum, Burns, and Leon Edwards. And then Drew doesn't want to talk about. Drew does this thing where he just doesn't want to talk about fights, and that's what's happening here. And so here we are. Welterweight right now is a lot of fun. Pretty much everyone in the top. You could say top 15. I'm just going to keep it at top 10. Top 10 is really, really tough. And what sucks is the pound for pound number 1 fighter in the world right now is the champion, and he just doesn't fight. Right, so like, there's kind of just this stoppage.
Fight. Let's go.
There's just this like it happens all. You see this happen a lot. Actually, this is happening pretty much almost every weight class right now, where the champion is just not fighting at least 2 times a year, and so it's just like holding it up. So literally, like right now, there's so many weight classes where honestly, welterweight is really one of them. Where if you're the number 1 ranked contender, you're kind of like the champ right now. Like everyone's just gunning for that spot. Lightweight is the same, even though we're about to get a conclusion of that. Welterweight's like that. Light heavyweight's about to be like that pretty soon. Heavyweight has been like that. So This is a public service announcement to all champions in the UFC. Do your fucking job. How about that? Is that a fair assessment?
Go strap that 4 ounces of foam and leather on your hands and let's get to it.
Yeah. Let's get to this fight, though. We're doing a lot of rambling today. We're not really talking about fights. Right now, Brady's a -170, Buckley a +140. Very close odds. Some of the odds for this card are very close because there's a couple of pick'ems. I am going to take Sean Brady for this. He's a sensational fighter. Michael Morales is just very, very good. I don't think people understand how great of a fighter he is at welterweight. I honestly would like to see Michael Morales move up just a little bit, because if he's going to deal with this, stoppage at the upper echelon of welterweight, he might as well just move up and just fight in a bigger weight class. But yeah, so I'm going to take Brady for this one.
He's going to move up to a weight class where the champ also only fights once a year?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. That's the point I'm trying to make. But I'm taking Brady.
I'm taking Sean Brady as well. I mean, you can't bet against a guy like Sean Brady. I mean, you can, but you might just look stupid. I think he's a better wrestler. He's as good of a striker. I think that we see this fight go, and Sean Brady's going to do whatever he wants. I think we see a late submission or decision victory by Sean Brady, and that's all we really got to say.
Let's move up to the heavyweight bout. Heavyweight is on a return. We have been very vocal on this show on how heavyweight has been very disappointing. Everyone, if you're a fan of the show, you know I'm a big Tom Aspinall fan. Probably my number 1 or number 2 favorite fighter currently on the roster. But everyone else is kind of just, what everyone talks about all the time. Heavyweight is just a bunch of fat old guys right now, and they don't really have cardio. But it is slowly returning. With the inclusion of Gable Steveson coming soon, there's some guys in heavyweight
International Fight Week. He's making his debut.
It's coming soon. It's coming very soon. And after the Josh Hockett versus Curtis Blades fight, heavyweight's kind of back. It's not there yet, but it is kind of back. And I think this is going to be another great addition into heavyweight, and that is the number 4 ranked Waldo Cortez Acosta versus the number 2 ranked Alexander Big Patty Pimblett Volkov. That's my nickname for him. Drew, who do you think's taking this one? Is it the Pirate Acosta or is it Big Patty Pimblett?
Let's go with my boy Drago. Alexander Volkov is gonna show Waldo Cortez Acosta that, hey, you might hit hard, but there's levels to this game. You talk about a guy who's one of the if not the tallest active fighter. I believe he's 6'7" or 6'8". He's absolutely massive. I think that Volkov's gonna have Waldo's gonna have a big problem with guys that have this big of a reach, because he's not gonna be able to try that really aggressive, in your face kind of style. You're gonna get picked apart on the outside if you do that with a guy like Volkov, who's also got some speed and some great wrestling. We're either gonna see a changing of the guard, or we're gonna show that there's levels to this game. So give me Alexander Volkov to say, hey, there's levels to this game. You're good, but you're not great.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and this has kind of been an opinion on some of the people that I do like to listen to, that Volkov is a very underrated fighter right now. And I think a lot of that has to do with just the fact that, going back to what I previously stated, that heavyweight's kind of a joke. But, I mean, Volkov very much could be in a very much different position right now. Remember, he kind of got robbed against Cyril Gane about 2 years ago.
What do you mean kind of got robbed? He got robbed. Dana literally went up to him after the fight and said, we're going to make this right. You got fucked. Those were his words to Volkov. And then you know what they did? They had him fight
Jackson
Jailton
Almeida.
Yeah, he fought Jailton Almeida. Jailton Almeida beat him. So they're like, you know what? I know that 2 wrongs don't make a right, but that's what we're doing. So we're going to rob Jailton Almeida. Hey, and I'm happy that heavyweight's back, because Dana White was in our DM saying, hey, we're getting this Rooster guy, and we're going to stick him in the UFC to prove that these guys are killers. So, thank you to everybody for actually doing your job at heavyweight, so now I don't have to step in the ring.
First of all, there's no way your fat ass is getting up to heavyweight, right? After an actual UFC camp, you're at most a middleweight, at most.
Hey, I'm 255 right now. I'm not losing 60 pounds in camp.
Yeah, and it's all fat, buddy, all right?
Hey,
it's all fat.
Hey, I'm only like 22% body fat right now.
Congratulations. Let's move up. I'm taking Volkov as well. I like both these fights. I think it's going to be one heck of a fight. Volkov right now at a -170. The flyweight title bout, this fight was supposed to happen 2 weeks ago.
Longer than that. It was supposed to happen at 327.
2 or 3. Was that not 2 weeks ago, or was that 3? I'm missing time.
It was the night of the Yuri
fight.
fight.
No, it was several. It was several. You know what? It was. You know what? I forgot about it because we didn't watch it because we were at the PFL. Yeah. Drew, do some of your insider reporting. What did happen to Joshua Van that this fight got pushed back?
You know, John, this is not a time that I say this often. I don't know. I looked into it. I did not see anything that really was disclosed. Hell, I don't even know if he was hurt. So that's just pure speculation on my point. I looked, I tried, I did not see anything.
All right, thank you, Drew. Appreciate for that analysis.
Actually,
right now, Tatsuro Taira.
Try it. Give me one more time. We're going to try it right now.
Yeah, go into it. Tatsuro Taira right now is actually the favorite at the number 3 ranked contender. He's a -175. Josh Van, the champion, is plus 145.
Oh, sorry, John. I'm gonna come in right now and say that the best thing that they say on ESPN is that it's an undisclosed minor injury. So my guess is probably some sort of pulled muscle.
It's so many. It could be so. I mean, they could also just be such a lie, you know. Who knows? Right now, Joshua Van is receiving kind of some heat in the news lately in his media days and pressers, where obviously people have called him not the real champion because, you know, Pantoja just dislocated his elbow very early into their fight against Joshua Van. Van claims that, hey, I'm the one who injured him, right? You know, a jiu-jitsu black belt should know how to fall. I 100% agree with him on that, actually. I don't think he actually said a single wrong thing in that statement. Black belt jiu-jitsu should know how to fall. But I personally don't get it, and this is, you can maybe help me on this. We've seen much more severe injuries in the UFC. Look at Anderson Silva, right? Where like injuries happen in the ring. We've seen worse injuries get called no contest. So I guess I'm kind of confused.
I wouldn't say that. I can't remember a time where I saw a terrible injury like that and it was ruled a new contest. Like, you think of Aspinall and Blades 1, very similar event. Aspinall snapped his leg on the first leg kick and that was a loss. I mean, it's the same thing with like Anderson Silva breaking his leg, Chris Weidman breaking his. Like, we've seen guys have these terrible injuries. I've never once seen one called a no contest. Other than a nut shot, but that's really it.
So do you think it was warranted that it should have gone down as a win for Van?
Do I like it? No. Do I, by the rule set of the UFC?
Do you understand
I do agree. Yes, I understand that if you get injured from a legal shot, it doesn't matter if it's 10 seconds in or 10 minutes in. I think you lose via TKO. It's shitty and it sucks that that's the rule is. But until there's a change, that's really all you can do. Because then if you change the rule and say, oh, it's a no contest, people that are obviously losing a fight are going to fake an injury. Be like, oh, I'm hurt, I can't continue, and it's be your no contest. Like, you see what I'm saying? If you go the other way, it opens up a way for people to abuse it.
I do understand. Yeah, I think I guess it just all goes back to just like, you know, the comments that Joshua Van has made where like, you know, you kind of would want a guy in that situation to be a little bit more humble, right? And to know that, hey, maybe I would look at it this way. If I'm Joshua Van, I'm saying this is me in this thing. If I'm Joshua Van, my you know, attitude towards this fight against Taira would be to, hey, I didn't get to show my championship caliber fighting my last fight. I'm going to show it this fight, right? And I got to be honest, I haven't really seen that from Van this weekend. I know what your pick is going to be. I'll let you get to it. But I'm going to take Joshua Van in this fight because I think he just has a lot to prove. I mean, he's the youngest fighter of all time. Excuse me, second youngest champ of all time. He's the youngest. What am I trying to say here? He's the first person born in the 2000s to win a title. That's what I'm trying to say, right? So he's got this super big chip on his shoulder where he's, you know, essentially representing an entire generation of people. He's representing an entire continent, really, in this fight against two Asians. And so I think he just has. I said this to you earlier. I think he's on fraud watch. I hate to say it that way, but it kind of is. And I think he's just got a lot to prove, and I think he'll come out and do it. Go ahead.
I think that you are right, that Joshua Van has a lot to prove. However, there's also a guy that he's fighting that has a lot to prove. You know, he was the first person to knock out Moreno. I know you said, oh, Moreno's washed, yada, yada, yada. Uh, I'm going with Tatsuro Taira in this fight just because I have seen that Tatsuro Taira has good enough hands to stand and bang, but he also has something we haven't really seen much from Van, and that's a great ground game. Tatsuro Taira, fighting him would honestly feel like fighting an octopus. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but his grappling and his leg kicks are just, you don't know what's coming where, and he is so quick because he's 125 pounds. I have a feeling if he really pressures Joshua Van and forces him on the back foot, this fight could go the complete opposite direction, and Tatsuro Taira could walk around with his hand raised. He'd be the first Japanese-born UFC champ in history, and I think that's something that now he's got this whole country of Japan on his back. I don't think he's going to lose, and that hurts me to say it because I really want to see Joshua Van prove me wrong and defeat a great like Tatsuro Taira, especially if he gets a finish, because Taira hasn't been finished in his career. He only lost a split decision to Royval. But I feel like if he finishes Tatsuro Taira, that really proves that he belongs here, but I just don't know if I see it getting done.
Yeah, it's another situation where, once again, we have to laugh about the fact that Brandon Royval's career has just taken kind of a nosedive, and it's kind of due to these like two fighters here, really. Because, I mean, he was very much in line to fight Pantoja, and then him and
Van... He already did fight Pantoja. He's fought Pantoja 3 times, I believe?
I'm saying like he was due for like... There's no way he fought him 3 times.
I believe he fought him 3 times, not in... if I'm not mistaken.
It most had to have been 2.
Yeah, sorry, my bad. It was 2. I was thinking of Moreno. My bad.
Yeah, so it's like, so I'm guessing one of them was a title fight and the other one wasn't.
No, the first one was a non-title fight.
So
it was in August of 21.
They were both non-title fights. One of them was.
The second one was a title fight. The first one was an up-and-coming fight. That's how Pantoja got his crack at the belt, was by beating Royval the first time. It was very early in Pantoja's UFC career.
Yeah. Which kind of just backs my... So I apologize for not knowing the history. Kind of just backs my point up a little bit more on how Royval's career has kind of just slid.
I mean, he beat Moreno, and then, he was... And then he had a fight of the year, and then he didn't fight well. It happens. It sucks, but it happens.
Yeah. I think... Let me ask you something. Do you think the UFC wants Tatsuro to win this fight?
That's a really hard question to ask.
If you look at the history of the UFC and you look at the history of Pride, do you think it would do them good to have like a top talent Japanese fighter?
Oh, absolutely. I think that Japan, but I mean, that's hard to say because Japan has risen and has won. So I guess that the UFC audience really hasn't ever been super, super big in Japan. I mean, it's been up there, but I think that with the promotions they have, it's like, you know how like LFA is big here, but it's not really big outside of the United States. That's kind of how like One and
it's their like smaller,
it's their
smaller promotions.
But Ryzen's got some top tier talent, and so's One. I mean, some guys from One that are going to come over and just steamroll through the UFC. Look at some of the guys that have fought in One in the UFC now. They're great. Like look at Mighty Mouse. He fought in the UFC and then he dominated in One. There's some good talent in One.
It's just if you had to, I mean, I think that's ultimately the goal of every sports league is how do we make our international brand even broader, right? That's why the NHL is starting to play games overseas, right? That's why the NFL's been doing it for a couple of years, right? Baseball is now playing games in Japan, right? They're just trying to expand as much as possible.
I feel like the UFC, the UFC is.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the UFC is an international brand, so anything for them, I think it's like how do we just like reinforce that image.
Let's talk a little bit about this here.
Taira would help.
Is that if Taira gets a win and is champ and has his title defense, Dana might be going, okay, how can we put on an event in Tokyo? And maybe bring the UFC to Japan. Maybe Dana goes, oh, let's see, now that we have a Japanese champ, we can put him in his first title defense in his home country. Like, I have a feeling like if Ilya beats
and that's
Gaethje,
what I'm saying.
We're going to have it. We could potentially have a show in Madrid somewhere. I don't know what arena you'd host it in, but you could maybe have a show in Madrid.
Yeah, they want And you talk about that more. They I almost feel like I almost guarantee they kind of want Merab to have the belt back, or they want maybe they put Jan or Piotr Jan versus Merab 3 in. I know they want to have a Georgia fight, right? So you want to put. I mean, this happens a lot. This is not a new thing, right? They do this all the time. Hey, fighters from an area fight on that card, right? It brings in a crowd, right? It makes the crowd different. Look at Dustin Poirier's retirement fight, which honestly, at this point, Justin be talking too much about coming out of retirement. Brother, they threw on an entire card for you.
Yeah, and if Dustin Poirier would not have retired, that fight would have gone down in the Apex.
Yeah. Yeah. Just saying. Anyway, let's move on talking about the world geopolitical state of the UFC. We talked about this at the top of the show. We're going to end it with it here. We actually never gave our picks. We should start doing that. We should talk about the final fight first and then give our picks at the end. Maybe it forces people to watch a little bit longer.
Yeah, I like that idea.
It's the number 3 ranked contender in the middleweight division, Deshaun Strickland, versus the champion, Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev is coming in at a minus 575 favorite. Strickland a plus 425. I'm going to make it blunt. I'm going to make this quick. I've said it. I've been very critical of him on this show. Not as a fighter, not as a person. I mean, I really do not know that much about him. My only problem with Khamzat Chimaev is he just does not fight. And that's purely it. As a champion, again, you should be fighting at minimum. No, barring injury, right? But if you go in a fight and you're perfectly healthy, you should be getting booked that night for a 3-month shot. You should be getting if you go into a championship fight and you walk away uninjured, you're getting booked 3 months later. That's how I think it should be.
I wouldn't say 4, I'd say 6. 6, because you have to find someone to fight him. It's not as easy because the champ knows he's gonna.
I get it.
Could book a fight for the champ, but if no one wants to fight him, what's he gonna do? Run around the ring by himself? Is he gonna? Is he hoping to get slimed out by his shadow? Like what are we talking about?
The problem with that is like the UFC wants high ranked guys, and honestly, there's always going to be someone who wants to fight the champ, right? And I think that's part of the problem. Where hey, you don't always have to give the top 6 ranked contenders the fight. If they don't want it, give it to someone else, right? Someone is always willing to fight and make a name for themselves. So outside of that, I wish Khamzat fought more. I'm not going to get fooled again like DDP. I'm not going to get fooled like Ankalaev versus Pereira 1. Khamzat, I think, is just going to wipe the floor with Sean. I hate to say that with every fiber of my being, but I don't see this as a close fight.
Listen, I'm agreeing with you and taking Khamzat, but at the end of the day, we're going to be rooting for Sean and hoping we're wrong.
Yeah, this is one of those situations, and we've talked about this several occasions. It's not who do we want
to win, it's who do we think is going to win.
It's who do we think is going to win. Listen, we say this all the time. Every time we do a card, every time we do fight nights, every time we do predictions, we always say you get one fight where you pick a fighter based off of just feelings, emotions, and vibes. I don't think we did that on any of these today. These were all pretty straight up. And I'm not doing it here. I think Khamzat handles Sean very well. I don't know if I feel like I'm being gaslit or like Mandela affected into like how great of a takedown defense Sean Strickland has, like how good he is, like he is so well equipped to take on Khamzat. It's like, dude, he got dog walked by DDP.
Well, let's just say this is that I think that
Twice.
The best we're not going to talk. Actually, we can talk about those because I love Dreykus. But I think that Sean is the best wrestler that Khamzat has fought. I will say that he's the best wrestler Khamzat's fought. Is that going to matter?
Sure.
No, I think that the only person who I think could beat Khamzat Chimaev in an MMA fight is our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That is the only person that's beaten Khamzat. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Khamzat is that good and that dominant at 185. I don't know who, other than the man himself, would beat Khamzat in a fight. He is the most talented and fighter I think I've ever seen at 185. I think that he would beat Anderson Silva. I think he'd beat a 185 version of GSP. You talk about all your GOAT middleweights.
Prime Israel Adesanya.
That I didn't think he's on the level of Anderson Silva, so I thought that kind of went unsaid. But yeah, I feel like that version of Izzy and that version of Anderson Silva would not even have a prayer against this version of Chimaev, because when we picked it, we thought Khamzat was going to gas. he poured it on harder in the 5th round than he did in rounds 1 through 4. His new camp with what they did with his gas tank is incredible, and I think what they did needs to be studied. They turned that guy from a walking 5-minute maniac into a 25-minute killing machine.
Yeah, I mean, it's he's so talented. He's so aggressive. I hated the fight against DDP because he really just did lay on top of him. I mean, he literally did not go for submission one time.
I mean, he had the most significant strikes ever landed in a title fight. He had like 687 strikes. Give it to Dreykus. Now Dreykus saying, "Oh, I'm gonna move up." And who are you gonna fight? Robert Whittaker at 205? Okay, let's see how that goes.
Yeah. I think the next time we talk about Khamzat is going to be for the interim light heavyweight title.
Okay.
I don't think Khamzat wants to stay at middleweight right now.
I know that cut, we say this a lot, but it seems like that cut for him to 185 is terrible. How that guy ever made 170, I will never know.
Yeah, he's a big guy. I actually said this to you previously, Drew, that I think the heavier of just, hey, sometimes,
another guy, how the hell did he ever make 185?
Struggling at the bottom of your ranking, is not going to do it for you. Move up and just go ahead there. One of the best physiques in the history of the UFC, by the way, Paulo Costa. Sensational.
I put him at number 2 behind Horsemeat over him, but hey, and TRT Belfort, but those guys were natural.
Yeah, saucy. But yeah, any last words on the card overall, this title fight, Drew?
No, I think that we're gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if they talk all this crap and Khamzat just dances around him before he shoots, and just like, ooh, look at me, I can dance around Sean Strickland.
I see this I've seen so much thing. It's like,
I hope this is not your typical. Oh, we're gonna hype this up, and then it's Izzy and Yoel Romero with this dance around each other for the whole fight. It's like, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, dude. If I see Khamzat just lay on, if I see another DDP versus Khamzat, I'm so for real. I'm turning it off and going to bed.
I couldn't turn it off. I paid $600 a ticket, and I bought 2 tickets to that event, and I had to watch it in person, and I cried after the fight. It was that bad. Hey, but at least I got to see Carlos Pradas knock out Jeff Neal, so I guess it wasn't a total loss.
That was a rough night for you.
It was.
But what's the next event we got on our schedule here, Drew? I think we're gonna.
Call me crazy. I think we talk about the Rousey Carano card next week because that's
we are
next
doing
weekend.
That is booked. Is that next weekend?
It is. It's the same night as Arnold Allen and Melky Costa.
Yeah, so we're definitely not talking about that. But yeah, so the next time we see us, we will be talking.
Lock it in. End of story. We're filming the episode now. Melky Costa.
That's Drew's pick. I'll post that later. Yeah, next week is going to be the first time we do not talk about the UFC on the channel. We talked a little bit about the PFL couple episodes ago. By the way, point to the flag. Our boy did it. Brought it home. Beat Nate Jennerman in his PFL debut. That's what I'm talking about. Northwest Indiana. NWI.
One, I don't know.
Put some respect on the 219, folks. But that's going to do it for this episode of Inside the Fence. We thank you very much for watching. Make sure you check us out on Instagram and Threads if you want Drew's live reaction and live opinions on fights he posts on Threads. We actually do very well for ourselves. We've been liked by...
The UFC likes us sometimes. We got a little bit of interactions with West Till Death,
To be fair, once again, calling out West Till Death, we'd love to have you on the show. To be fair, I think there's only like 25 people on Threads, period. So I think the UFC like is mandated to like a post about them. However, they do like us, so we're going to carry that to our grave. But Drew has some really good opinions, and I can't wait to see what he posts this weekend, and neither should you. Other than that, we'll see you guys next week for Netflix's MVP. But other than that, enjoy UFC 328 wherever you're watching, even though we know where you're watching. Have a good one, folks.